Oh, poop. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Simply Live with Simply Lesa. That's me. Who am I? Just another human being who has uh, been doing this simple living uh, vehicle lifestyle and round the world travel stuff for a number of years. I evidently, wrong thing. I evidently set this up with my phone in portrait bummer instead of in, let's get this on so that my microphone will be there, in portrait rather than, uh, la- portrait rather than landscape this morning, which means I can't use my stand. Poop. How did I mess that up? And I don't have them. If I had a magnet I could stick on the side of the car, we could solve that problem, but darn, I screwed up. And I'm not gonna make y'all move over. It's too late for that. So so there's the nice, beautiful tripod that I won't be using this morning. I'll be holding y'all in my hand. So let's go along for this ride this morning. So welcome to Simply Live, our Sunday. Oh, our Sunday morning get together of this group of fairly close, um, keep living simply gang. I keep forgetting what I call you guys all the time. So let me take a quick look make sure that the live chat is up on my screen. Good morning, everybody who is here ahead of time. Catherine, because I know you're here early always. I see that the sun is cutting the shade in the sun right there. So let's see. Hi, George and Tammy. Hi, Iris. Hi, Beth. I forgot SSR. I forgot her name, but that's okay. And there's Iris, Kathleen. Um, Catherine, how's your situation going? Can you update people in a little text? I think your situation's getting better. Jeremy, hi. No, Jeremy, the motor has not come in. We'll discuss and tell you more details on that. That is stressful. And it's stressful for the mechanic and his family as well. We're trying really hard to make it easier for all of us. But, mechanics kind of are like bartenders or hairdressers or I don't know what other things. You guys sometimes hear the stories and you try to talk people down from being all upset because you can fix it. It just takes time. So they're good at it, but I'm doing what I can to help this mechanic not have to calm me down because he's got other stuff going on. But here we are. Let's get on here and go for the ride. Judith, hi. Brooke, Betty Joe, I miss you. We haven't talked in a while, but I miss you. And I still want to apologize another time for not listening well. That last time I was there, I was so in my own stuff, and that was not cool. So I apologize again. Joanne, nice to see you this morning. Um, And the parts. Hurry up and wait for parts. Yeah, wait for everything. We did finally. So when I first got here, this mechanic, looked up things on Rock Auto and stuff. And he had me order a head gasket and some other stuff from Rock Auto. And it comes with a sticker on the box that says you can't return it. So I will be bringing that head gasket along with me when I come because it's vehicle specific. And so I doubt he's never had to work on a tracker before. So I doubt he has a use for it. And I've already paid for it because I bought the parts. He had me order and pay for 6 gallons of coolant which I knew I didn't need that much. The price was good, some other things, but I also knew it wasn't the right coolant for my car. And so we've had to reorder coolant. So I've paid for 9 gallons of coolant, but we do finally have 3 gallons of the kind I need. I don't know how much of that cost I get to recover, how much he will um, use like and just put into his stock in the shop. I don't know what he's able to do yet. So that's not even something we're talking about right now. So okay, I did not. Is there a way for me to turn off everything but? I just saw that something popped up on the screen. I don't see how to make it not pop up. Um, my friend Esther, who has Disciples in the Desert nonprofit, has been texting with me recently, so I'm in contact with her. Um, she knows I'm a believer in the great creator. Um, okay, wonderful, Catherine, that you're safe, but you don't know what's happening yet. Okay. I'm aware that Catherine and Homer are considering that they might want to no longer be so mobile on the road, with both their age, the age of their rig, and the serious problems they've had in the last, I think it's been 2 years. Now, they happen to be, I think it's okay to say it, right, Catherine? They happen to be connected with a belief and a religion or church. And so they will be looking for something that's a budget RV rental place or something that will have access to a church family they can be more involved with, I believe. And if I'm wrong, Catherine, please tell people. Because pray for everybody in the group, because as we all know, we talk about it every Sunday, prayers do lots of things. You cannot always throw money at every problem. We are going to talk about those things today as well. I have I don't know if Johnny's going to come out and join us today or not, or Tom. Tom Brown, I think his name is. Tom does, what's his YouTube channel is, trying to remember. Life After Stroke or something like that. Um, he's been having kidney stones. I think he said he had impacted kidney stones he's dealing with. But he went and had some surgery the other day. He said he's doing fine. He's using the medication and the pain pills and whatever. And he's not allergic to weed, so I think he's using a little of that as well. Um, yeah, housekeeping stuff. All of you admins and members that feel like helping me with housekeeping because I might forget some things today. Um, Thumbs up helps. I do have things like super chats and super thanks and things like that. I don't get that money as fast as I do things like PayPal or Cash App. Wow, Cash App is kind of really nice, especially when you guys send me money for things like groceries or stuff like that. Now I also have, it's www.buymeacoffee.com, I believe, slash SimplyLesa, right? Um, that you can pick. Send me $5, send me $10, send me, one coffee, two coffees, whatever it is. It's kind of cool. I have not set up something that I saw, like Chrome does this thing, where you can send him a Tim Horton um, gift card. And I haven't set up, I don't know how to do it, how to set up the Amazon gift card thing. That would be so helpful. So, I know early in our Sunday talks, I often just give you a little bit of an update. Who's this? Babs. Hi, Babs. Hi, Babs. Thank you for coming in. Um, yeah, yeah, prayers, positive energy, whatever it is you call what you do. But the great creator, I feel like when I talk to him, I'm blessed. I really am blessed. I mean, these situations are hard, and we will talk a little more about the realities. Just FYI, I'm sitting close enough that I have set some things on my tire. The orange bag right there has got my phone charger in it because I keep trying to keep my phone out of the sun, because if I plug it into the outside of the house wall socket and the phone's in the sun, it will take hours to charge, like all day long, because it's too hot. And then I've had the problem of it also getting really dirty between dogs and kids and whatever else. So I started setting it inside the orange bag, which doesn't help with the heat, but whatever. And then I also put so like this morning I asked when I went in to make coffee and use the bathroom, would it be okay if I charged it inside today so that it would charge faster? So I had it when we started, I had it at 90 something percent. So we should be fine on that. But I've been journaling in the mornings. I don't always journal, but for a lot of years I have. And when I'm going through stuff, it helps me to get the junk out of my head. The I dreamt about this last night stuff, or the old thoughts of this reminds me of blah, blah, blah. I write it down. So I have some little journal style notes about things I want to remember to kind of bring up today. Hi, Shadow Wolf. How are you? Greg, hi. So good to see you guys. Um, didn't I see somebody else? Nope, I said something to some of y'all already. Um, some of you guys are members. You'll see there's a difference. You can join and become a member. Sometimes you get some little videos or comments on YouTube from me personally during the week. I've been trying to do more with that. Um, Rockin' Van Life, thank you for coming out. Um, so, on the update side of this, I am let me start with I am so freaking grateful for all of you who pray, send out positive energies, whatever it is you do. Rub your crystals. I'm trying to joke. I don't mean that in some disrespectful way. Um, uh, I am also grateful for everyone who has jumped in with my post this week, as well as my blog posts. Now, some of you who like to read might have gone out and read my kind of long blog post that had like lovely detail about both my finances and some of my concerns right now. Yeah, I'm looking at myself in my phone screen right now and going, wow, I look pretty good today for considering how I kind of feel. I've had a number of things happen. I've had a horrible allergic reaction this week. I had to take 4 Benadryl that day. At 6 Benadryl, I need an ambulance. And often that is get me to a hospital. We're a long ways from a hospital here. So, but 4 Benadryls and I ended up being okay. Um, I have had histamine issues. I feel them today, this darkness under my eyes. I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to do this. Yeah, if it's gross to you, don't look. But, the whites of my eyes are kind of red. That's allergic conjunctivitis. It looks like pink eye. It's not. It's not contagious. It's just allergy, histamine stuff. I'm stuffy. Um, and part of it is environmental. Part of it is I was trying to reintroduce another food item, and I knew I was borderline allergic to the item. Well, I'm still allergic, so forget the borderline and forget me trying that for a long, long, long time. Now, I'll give that 2 or 3 years now. No, don't do that. I'm not ready for that. So, okay. So that's part of the health things. I've been feeling the stiffness in my joints with the histamine and whatever else. Um, I know I'm not exercising like I would like to. I don't like exercise for exercise sake. Yes, in quotes, air quotes. Uh, I like a purpose to what I'm doing. So, yes, I'm still doing physical weeding, making paths to the chickens, making parking spaces for the extra vehicles for the mechanic. Because he has some tools and some shovels. And so when it's cooler during the day or in the evening, I can go do that. And it gives me some physical activity. Um, Last night, I don't know why, because it wasn't caffeine induced, but I just didn't. I had energy in the evening, and I couldn't like rest or anything. I just walked in the driveway a lot, started, moving my arms and wiggling my. I don't know what was going on, and then when I went inside because the bugs were bothering me, the the um the mountains are close. You could see those. Whoops, that's the tree. Go the other way, Lisa. Put your hand the other way. It's like looking in a mirror and trying to point. Those mountains right there are on the other side of the highway. The highway's right in front. In front. Somehow I can't make my arm do it right. Um, on that side, and then there's mountains on the other side over there. Well, the snow runoff from those mountains over there, whoops, I know that was wiggly, sorry, but the snow runoff from those mountains comes across the highway and over toward the other mountains. And in the middle is like this salt flats lake thing full of mosquitoes. That's how come there's so many mosquitoes. And yeah. So bugs, mosquitoes, flies, they have chickens and they're trying to homestead here. They haven't been doing it long. They don't have much experience with the homestead stuff. So I'm doing what I can. I'm not used to this area. So when somebody said to me, "You can't give that to the chickens," I was like, "What are you talking about? You can't give chickens weeds." Okay. And then I checked in with somebody who has lived in Nevada on a farm a lot. And they said, yeah, there are some weeds that could be poisonous to a chicken. And I was like, well, in my humble experience, all the years I've been alive, all chickens will taste things. And if they're poisonous, they don't taste them a second time. Not, and I don't mean that it kills them. I mean what I mean by that is they know it real quick and they don't get near it. So I I never had anybody say that before, and I've been in lots of parts of the world uh, doing permaculture farming of different styles. Oh, this may be a little dark for you guys. Oh, the lawn chair's on the lawn chair's on the. There we go. Um, on the door. So anyway, yeah, I know that if you let chickens out along the weeds, they will just do their thing, and the things that are poisonous to a chicken, they just won't touch. But because they're younger people and don't have the experience I have, and after asking this other person who's farmed in Nevada, I will uh, if it's their homestead, it's their chickens, it's their business, and so of course I give to their request, and their request is that the chickens don't get the weeds. So all those weeds I've been working with, I pile them up, and then I can't lift the rake. The mechanic's a big guy. I think he has. I think he said that he has Viking heritage or something. He's big guy. Anyways, he has the steel rake that he made. Well, I can't even lift the thing. So I pile up weeds and then I let him kind of move them around. I'll move some because I found a garden fork, not a pitchfork, but a garden fork. And I can move small amounts that way. And so I just carry them over where he wants the dog to use the bathroom and where those weeds will choke out other weeds around, like his, they'll compost down and help kill out some other things. So anyway, so that's one way that I'm helping and keeping some activity. Okay, I feel like I got off on that. I don't feel like I'm totally distracted, but so basically, how do I'm feeling like I should I like I said, I have a list. Let me check your messages. Yeah, I saw Shadow Wolf and Greg come in. That's where when I'm starting to look. Yeah, everybody who's come in. What was this? Pink eye isn't a good thing to be around. That's a fact. Yes, but this is not pink eye. Please understand. I hope you heard me. This is allergic conjunctivitis. This is not contagious. Okay? Yeah, I don't give wine to chickens. There's a lot of things I don't do. Anyway, so let me pull my little notes out here, because and it was very the notes that I made for today really are kind of journal style, but so I titled today's live as uh, stranded without an engine. I think that's what I called it. Didn't I what I called it? So so some things that may help somebody else when they're in this situation. Stay calm. Work on staying calm. And to stay calm, one of the things that helps a whole lot, y'all probably know this, is, grounding yourself and doing a lot of deep breathing. Just breathe. Take a deep breath. Be patient. Wait. Hard things to do when you're in these situations, but what else can you do? Do what you can for yourself. Be creative. Help other people help you. Encourage other people. Do the things that you feel you need. So, for example, when I found out Catherine at home was struggling, well, of course I'm going to support them. I made a phone call, I talked to them, I try to listen, I try to encourage them to do what they can to get through their situation the best they can. We need each other. It's hard sometimes, but we need each other. So ask for help. Now, there's a thing, because some of y'all know that this week I asked for help through social media and everything else. And oh, some of the things that came up when asking for help, because I didn't want to. But at the same time, I knew that the expenses that are coming up, they're going to be challenging. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. All right. Exhaust the things that you can control first. So do what you can, then take a deep breath, then ask for what you can't, or for ideas. Ground yourself. Y'all know grounding is about, letting your feet, your body touch the earth, be out in the air, be in nature, take the time. I'm taking my Sabbath day off. I may not be doing it the way I love to do it, but I am taking my Sabbath day off. Make sure that I spend a day focused not on the phone, not on the things people are telling me, but focusing on what I hear from the great creator helping me, right? Focus on those things. I'm, continuing with my therapy, my friendly phone calls, ask other people what they've tried when things were hard for them. Um, how did they get through things? I contacted my friend Orozuk, who's on Instagram. He had he has an old Suzuki Samurai, and his engine blew. I don't know, last fall somewhere. He ended up stuck in the Camp Verde area for nearly 6 months getting help getting an engine. And it's hard. And so he advised me to remember that not many people can do what he and I are doing with older Suzukis because it's hard. And yet we're the kind of people that will do this. So just take a deep breath and don't forget to stay connected with each other. Right? That's what he said. And so, of course, I'm going to stay connected. I'm going to remember, hey, man, what did you do? Because I'm struggling. I'm struggling mentally today, or I'm struggling with how I think about this. So, notice the realities around you. For example, in my situation, I am safe. I'm not in danger. I am capable. This situation is stressful. Be honest with yourself. Separate your needs from your wants. Now, we're going to talk about my needs and wants in a minute, because, uh, and the realities of like the weather here, and the fact that I thought perhaps having the Napier tent would be really super helpful and let me rest a little bit. We'll talk about that because it helped me rest for a couple of days, and then it wasn't helpful. And I had to be willing to let that go. So I have packed that up, returned that. I am waiting for the manufacturer company to return my money to me. They said as soon as it was in the warehouse, they would give me my money back. So in this particular case, it was a great tent, but in this particular case, it wasn't going to help me enough. It let me get a couple of days rest, and then I've had to decide to let it go because I need the money more than I needed it. So I'll get that back. You also, get reminded of situations that have happened to you in your past. That's kind of a PTSD thing, but it's a human thing to have those things come up for you. And they're kind of red flag moments like, oh, when did this happen before? Wait a minute, what happened? But really, red flag or not, I don't call it red flags. I think that that's what gives you the opportunity to grow in this situation, with this situation. And you could take a deep breath. And if you journal like I do, or type into your phone, or whatever works for you, just taking a little bit of time to go, yeah, it is similar to that time when I had no control over the situation. And all the advice I'm getting from everybody is to return to a toxic situation, making a decision that will put me back under the control of toxic individuals who might have been abusive. Those things, that reminder, not a good thing for, well, it's a good learning thing, but for a moment, you might feel all that stuff over again. Separate yourself from the people you're with. Notice the reality that that's past, not present. Deal with the past thing enough to heal some more and grow and learn something, and then move on from a different viewpoint, because those are where you learn and you grow and you find the wisdom of, yeah, but that led me to this, which didn't work good. And sure, I remember it, but I don't want to do that again. I'm not repeating that. I'm not putting myself back in a situation where I'm going to be hurt worse than I was before. No. Why compound that on my because of a decision I make? And another big thing. So please see those realities and those reminders as learning and growth opportunities because it's what they are. Hunt for the creative problem solving situation. How can you do something very different from what you tried before? What's something you might try that might? And if you don't have an idea, that's when your conversations with other humans can give you ideas. Ask them, hey, I remember, like I said with Orozuk, I remember that you went through this. How did you keep your thoughts from going wonky about the person who's trying to help you? Right? How did you keep the separation between your past whatevers and what's going on today? And just that they might have an idea that you didn't think about. That's the beauty of other people. And please consider the other people in the situation. I'm not the only one going through what I'm going through here in my particular situation today. We don't often, I don't often have the opportunity to see what the mechanic in the situation's going through. Right, Jeremy? Jeremy probably's got stuff to say about this. But this mechanic, if I had stayed in the front parking lot of his business, I might never have noticed what was going on behind the scenes with his business and his family. But because I've been here a month, I've seen, I've noticed, I've asked, can I step in and help a little bit? I don't want to, and because I care about other people a lot, I often do this. I even put my hand up like I'm doing to you right now. I'll go, look, I don't want to step into your family situation. I know I can't help but affect it because I'm here. But how can I help you so you can help me? Because I'm in a waiting game and my energy doesn't need to be wasted. So, how can I help you? What need do you have that I might be able to fill? And so at one point it was, do you mind washing the dishes? No, I'll wash your dishes. Let me wash your dishes. I'll even clean your toilet if you want me to. Well, you don't have to clean our toilet. And I was like, well, but I used to clean houses. I ain't afraid of it. So you just tell me how you want it done. Wow, okay. Well, since you volunteered that you could or would or whatever. The other day, he asked me if I could trim some low branches on a tree. And I said, you tell me what you want it to look like. I don't want to make a mistake. It's your tree. He says, this one right here, this one right here, this one. Okay, got it. I have the tools in my car. I have my own gloves. Let me go get those, and I can trim those few low-hanging branches for you. May I lay those on top of your chicken pen so the chickens have a little more shade? Oh, that's a really good idea. See? It's another creative problem solving way to help somebody. It freed him up to go finish a motorcycle job where he's actually going to get paid and the motorcycle goes home, right? But if he had had to spend the hour or whatever it took for me to trim that bush tree, um, he couldn't have spent that much time on his work, and he's a hardworking mechanic. So my point here, I don't want to get too far away from the point. I want you to hear it. Consider the others in the situation. We don't often get the opportunity to see and experience the backside of the mechanic shop. And I'm getting a good view of that because I've been allowed to camp out in my tracker here. This is hard for them to watch as well. I've, heard them a couple of times and they're like, yeah, trying really hard not to be. I'm like, I know, I'm trying not to bring you my stuff. I really am trying not to use you as my sounding board. I'm trying to use my people on the phone. Some of you know that, like George and Tammy and Catherine. Some of you all have gotten phone calls from me, and Esther from Disciples in the Desert, all of that. So let's see. Um, uh, oh, and so some of the things just this week that have been challenging on the backside of this mechanic's business was they accidentally ran the well dry. He wasn't sure whether he burned out his well pump, but it turned out they just ran the well dry. They were clearing land for the associate is setting up his business on the same property, and he was burning brush, and one of those high winds that I had to take the tent down because of kicked up while he was burning brush and nearly caught the 10 acres on fire. So I was out there with a shovel and shoveling sand to help put out a fire because they could have lost their whole home and business and everything else because 20 minutes before the wind blew the fire, he had turned off all the water to the property in order to hook up the other guy's fifth wheel so that he can live on this property. And so they burnt through a commercial 100-foot, commercial grade 100-foot garden hose, melted. I mean, that's a pretty serious fire, people. So this is stuff on the back end of the mechanic's life that we wouldn't normally know about these things. And he said something one day. He comes in and I hear the F word thing from a distance. I'm like, do I need to come help? He was like, no, I'm just frustrated. I was like, okay, all right. If you need me. Anyways, somebody else that was supposed to come last week to pay him for something was like, I don't want to pay you. Or maybe not. I don't want to. I can't pay you this week or whatever it is. And he's like, well, how am I gonna, on top of the fire and running the well dry and this thing, the wife's head gasket going in her car, the extra get the wife's job starting to have a problem. You know, we got to take those things into account too. I'm not the only one here that's being affected. So now I'm going to go back to the needs versus wants thing and the fact that I put out a call for help. I want you all to know that on a financial note, any of you that have actually read the writing on my blog post, which is at SimplyLesa.blogspot.com. My finances are in that post. I have had enough donations of finances at this particular point that I'm comfortable saying as soon as the tent money is returned to me, I should be okay for a while. I have enough to pay the $885 that I know it will cost for the engine to be installed. There will be more expenses. I don't know what they'll be until they come up. I have a little bit of a cushion that may help me buy my food. And one person specifically, thank you, Greg. Greg sent me $40 specifically for gas. So I will hold that $40 separate for gas once the car's movable again. So in this particular case, you can't throw money at my needs right now because money doesn't solve everything. The biggest need right now is for the engine to actually arrive. The engine evidently is being shipped and it's being shipped cross country. I purchased it from a place in Atlanta, Georgia. It was put on a 40-foot semi coming across country with a company that used to belong to UPS Freight. They're a different company now out of Richmond, Virginia. Same company, but they don't belong to UPS anymore. So it's on a 40-foot trailer on its way here. They were supposed to contact us and tell us when to expect it. They didn't. The company we bought it from said it should have been here Thursday. It didn't arrive. The disappointment is what's like hard for me. I've had a lot of disappointment in my life. Lots of us have. Disappointment's really hard. And it's like, no, not more time. Because it's going to take time for him to put this engine in my car. Plus the fact that we don't know what's going to happen then, right? We don't know what's going to be wrong with it. It's an engine from a junkyard. So we don't know what's going to be wrong with it before it gets here. We don't know what extra parts we're going to need. I got a good price on it, yes. Most engines are over $1,000. I didn't pay that much. This was under $1,000. So, thank you for the blessing, God, but please let this engine be what they said. The engine does have a 1-year warranty and something else. I forgot what else. The details aren't in my mind right now. Must not be too important or I would remember it. Anyway, so the roller coaster of stress, the, reminders of things that allow me to learn and grow, the trying to stay connected with people that can assist me with whatever. Sometimes just, hey guys, I know you're a mechanic. Can you just talk me off I need to sell my car? My neighbor Brent, I called him one day this week. Look, man, I know you're the one who's going to say, Lesa, cut it out. Because he'll talk to me that way. Like, stop that. I'll be like, okay, all right, you're right. I called him the other day and I was like, the engine didn't come. What am I going to do? Is it time for me to start taking pictures of the tractor and trying to find out whether somebody else would buy this thing for me? Because I don't know what to do. And he goes, stop, not time yet. Okay, thank you. Thank you for talking me off that ledge. Yes, I know. I just patted that hard, but whatever. Thank you for talking me off that ledge because what am I going to do? You know what else I found out? There's no buses from here. Even if I wanted to spend $100 or $200 to get my butt home, there's no buses from here to go anywhere. I was like, well, crap, I'm not used to that either. So, okay, that's all out of the picture. So, deep breath, I'm here. Then my friend Shane, y'all remember Shane, he's out here sometimes. He called to check in the other day. How you doing, Lesa? You've been learning all these things. Lesa, by the way, I haven't heard you talk about this. Have you forgotten that you can leave the car where it is? And I'm like, oh no, I can't leave my car. I know what happens when you leave vehicles. You can't afford to go back and get them. And he goes, where'd you get that from? And I was like, well, I don't know. In my past, then I caught myself. In my past, the one time I had to leave a car at a mechanic's, I couldn't afford to go back and get it. And it was a long distance away like this is. And I couldn't afford to go get it. And the person I was with at the time just walked away from it. And I mean, it was supposed to be a boyfriend. It was, anyways, I lost that car because I was told it wasn't important. And I believed the person. And I was like, no. And back when I was 17, 18, I wanted to take a bicycle, like a bike packing trip across the United States. I wanted to go from Portsmouth, New Hampshire to San Francisco. Never did it. Bought the bicycle. $3,000 Motorbacon bicycle in 1976, I think. Anyway, that was before I did van life the first time in 1978. And so I uh, I left the bicycle with somebody while I tried to reconnect with my family, which was a really bad idea. I will not reconnect with my family. My family is toxic and not good for me. So, um, so it was one of those experiences that taught me that that was my reality. But I left the bicycle for 2 weeks. I went back. I left it with what I thought was a close person that was a coworker of mine in her basement. I got back. There was a piece of that frame was left. There were no tires. There were no handlebars. There was nothing. And that was beyond disappointing. You can imagine, I sat and cried for a long time because my whole dream, I wrote a poem once. I don't know if I could find it again. It, I don't know if I could find it again, but it was called Death of a Dream, or so it seems. I was all ready to start my big adventure. And I went to try to be nice with my family, to be told that I was a horrible person, and then return to a piece of the frame for the bicycle for the backpacking trip, which just, I mean, bike packing trip, which just, I, I sure that I was depressed. I'm sure that I struggled with work after that because I had to go back to the job and to not knowing what to do. And yeah, those things are so. When I was thinking about leaving this here, that didn't even come in my mind because I just put $1,000 into a solar system and a refrigerator so that I could have my food for my special diet while I travel. And if I leave this, what if I come back and that's all stripped off my car and I don't have my car? That's how my thoughts went. Which, why wouldn't they go that way with my past experiences? So I've had to do extra hard work, called the therapist some more after Shane brought it up to me, had to think this over. Is that true still? Is that what would happen? This mechanic's trustworthy, his family's trustworthy. They wouldn't strip my car on purpose. Now, if something happened because of a child, that's another situation. But I'm just saying, on purpose, no. But the idea of just leaving it, the stress that that brought up in my body, I'm just like, I don't know. And I was like, Shane, thank you for reminding me that I know how to leave things and walk away. And yes, I need a break, but no, I'm not sure how. I'm going to think about what you said. That's how I've chosen to deal with those creative new ideas is I'm going to walk away and I'm going to walk away from our conversation or go away from our conversation and think about what you said because I don't know what to do with that. Well, that led me to calling my other friend Esther. Like I said, she does Disciples in the Desert. We don't believe exactly the same, but we have very similar beliefs. Um, and we have also similar health issues. Hers are a different style. We're allergic to different things. She has MCAS as a diagnosis. I've never been diagnosed with that, but I'm very much aware of that in my life. The histamine things, but hers reacts to different stuff than mine does. Whatever. So, I got a hold of her and I said, I know you offered before on Facebook, you offered that if I needed to be rescued, you would drive down to get me. where are you in relation to where I am? I know you're in Nevada. And then I found out that she's 3 or 4 hours away. And I asked her if we could please put our heads together and pray about the idea that perhaps she would help me to get a little break from this situation while we're waiting on my engine. And so she said that sounds like it's possible. And I told her about the allergic reaction I'd had this week and how challenging it had been for me. And she said, well, you need me to come right away. And I was like, no, I've ordered some groceries. There's a story about that too from Amazon. I did. I ordered $72 worth of dehydrated shredded beef, carne seca, tallow, honey, something else, used my food stamps, my EBT, and something else. Had them shipped here. They were supposed to be here Tuesday. Checked Friday. It's being shipped to the wrong place. It's being shipped to the cabin. I know I set that up right, but I also know that Verizon reset my phone that day, all the security updates and everything. I don't know if that affected it. I don't know what happened, but I put in this address and it's being shipped to the wrong place. And I'm not sure. Amazon at this point has said, well, we have to wait for it to not be deliverable. Then we have to get the package back. Then we can cancel that and give you your money back and you'll have to reorder it. And I'm like, yeah, but I've got a UPS account. If you guys will release it from your block on the addressing, they can stop the shipment and redirect it to me where I am. But you have to help me do that. And then, of course, it's the weekend, so we can't make that happen right now. So, deep breath on that. But you know what? Somebody else has got plans, and I don't know what they are. And I believe the great creator's doing something. I don't know what he's doing, but, whatever. So here I am. Thought that stuff was coming Tuesday. It's not coming Tuesday because that's messed up right now. But yeah. So, all right, I'm going to go back and look at your stuff. Do you guys have a bunch of questions for me or whatever? I can get my neighbors, Jeremy, to pick up. I can get Brent and Donna to grab that package for me and even hold it. The stuff that I ordered won't go bad as long as it's not damaged in the shipping. Sometimes tallow being like solid, do you know what tallow is? Tallow being an oil product, sometimes it'll leak out of the jars all over everything. But I could have Brent and Donna help me with that and it could just wait until I get there. But again, it's possible Monday that I can get Amazon and UPS to get together and change the delivery address and it'll come here to this shop because I'm trying not to leave this area for a couple of weeks even after the engine is installed because I'm going to need a front end alignment, which will be another $100-ish. And I need to make sure that the car's running well enough to get home. So I want to stay in this general area. I should be able to go. I've already checked about camping. There is evidently some really great camping between 10 and 25 miles from where I'm at, like up in these mountains. And so hopefully Monday I can get that UPS straight, address released from Amazon so that UPS will change with their delivery and not charge me for it. So the delivery address. So hopefully that can be straightened out on Monday. It gives me something to do. And then, like I said, I want to make sure that the car's running good enough before I leave this area. And then I will probably just turn around the way I'm thinking right now, probably just turn around and start making my way back the way I came. And like that means that near Vegas, I know that I can have somebody else mechanically inclined take maybe spend a night there, have them check the engine again, or if I need to, or whatever. I hope that's making sense to you all. So I'm going to go look at your comments along the way because I feel like I have been talking quite a bit. And I'm hoping you all have some questions and some comments that will give me something else to respond to. I would love to encourage you on your journey with your stuff because mine hard enough for me on an everyday basis. But today is the day when I get to help somebody else. There's other days I get to help somebody else too. But my point being that, I don't want to focus on all my stuff. It's hard. These are the realities of life on the road. And I got to tell you, when I didn't have my property and before I had built my cabin, the wandering aimlessly, was so freaking annoying to me. I'm not a person who wants to always every spring be at this place and I'm not that nomadic, typical nomadic mindset is not what's internal in me. I'm a world traveler style traveler. The nomadic thing of in the spring I'm in Flagstaff, in the fall I'm in, well, no, let me do that again. In the spring I'm in Flagstaff, in the winter I'm in Quartzsite, in the fall I'm in the White Mountains of Arizona, in the summer I'm in Leadville, Colorado, uh, and then I go to Utah on my way back to Flagstaff for that drives me freaking crazy. I just am not. That's not my style of stuff. And then some of my early years when I had Vantucket as my ride, um, I one summer I put a message out on Facebook to other, what we call nomads now, and just said, "Hey, you guys that know me, where's somebody? I want to go to dinner with somebody during June. It's my birthday month. I don't celebrate birthdays because I wasn't raised that way. But because it's June, I want to do that. There's two things I learned to do during June, and that was to go out for a meal because I hardly ever do that, and to I used to, I don't do it anymore, but I used to go have my nails done in a natural way. I don't do nail polish and stuff. I don't believe in that. It's a personal thing. But I would go let somebody else pamper me a little bit, do a mani pedi, but with only the buff as a job, not nail polish. So those were the two things I had started as a tradition as an adult that made me feel like I was special during June. And so I put this out. Who wants to go do a natural mani-pedi thing? And who wants to go to dinner? And somebody said, "Oh, I'll go to dinner. Where are you?" And I was like, "Well, I don't remember where I was. I want to say I was in Virginia." And the person said they were in Baldwinsville, New York. And I was like, "Okay, I'll drive up." Well, I got there and I'm like, "So where are you at?" "I'm here." And they were like, "No, you're not." "Yes, I am." And they're like, "Well, I'm in South Dakota." I'm like, "Well, why are you in South Dakota? You told me to come to New York." And they were like, "Well, I didn't think you'd really do it." I'm like, "Yes, don't do that to each other, please. If you say something, be real about it, please." Because that was sucky. So rather than go out to dinner, I went to a deli at a grocery store and bought a slab of roast beef for my meal out. and I had my slab of roast beef and whatever at the time. What would I have had to drink? Probably club soda, knowing me. Really clean foods, as clean as I could get them, but it was whatever. And that was the big deal meal that month, that birthday month back that year. That was probably in 2013, I think. But yeah, don't do that to each other. But those, like, I can't think of what to do. I would have driven 17 hours to meet up with somebody. Absolutely. Why not? Because I didn't have any home base. So there was nothing holding me back. And my freedom is more important to me than anything else. Because, well, I say than anything else. As far as my style of travel and lifestyle, freedom is pretty important to me. It's a real high importance level because there were a lot of times in my life when I didn't have choice. It didn't, wasn't allowed a lot of things, a lot of, yeah, choice, freedom, not, wasn't a part of a lot of my life. So yeah, okay. So that's that. Okay, now I'm gonna look. Somebody give me something different to give me some stuff to talk about that's focused on somebody else. Let me go check your messages. Here we go. Let's go back up a little ways. Oh, can't go back very far, huh? Well, I can go back that far. That's why you have a truck still in Mississippi. I hear you, but I don't like that leaving a vehicle thing. It's scary. Who's that? Mojave. Oh, Loretta. Hey. Oh, Beth. Wow, that's interesting. Oh, that's wonderful news, Loretta, that you're camping at your ranch. Loretta, tell us a little bit. How's that going for you? Thank you, Jeremy. If I can't find another way, I will do that, Jeremy. This Chevy behind me, I don't know the total answer, but I think it's kind of technically his shop truck. Um, it it's a monster truck of ah, it's a monster, like, you could tell from this beefy bumper thing. Um, it it even has jack stands on the sides. This looks like a tire iron in here. Um, I think his wife told me the other day, I think this truck is his, has something to do with the shop and with towing things. But it uses a lot of gas. So I think it runs and everything, but they just don't use it much because of how much gas it uses. It's a crew cab. Yeah, the 4-door crew cab. Um, and I don't know what year it is. You'd probably know the year. Obviously, he has, let me see if I can turn the camera around a little bit. I'm showing you his truck. It has a zombie response team thing on it. It has a fifth wheel. I don't know if that's a true fifth wheel thing or if that's just what. What are the other fifth wheels called? Before they were fifth wheels, they were called something else. Has that thing and the thing. So here you go. Yeah, has a spare gas tank, right? Toolboxes. I see that trailer and special thing. I don't know if that came on these or not. It's a crew cab Silverado. Yeah. So I'm showing you, but I don't know anything else about it, Jeremy, except that his wife said it runs, it just uses too much gas. So they don't run it very often. And I guess he's trying to do a project with this. He would like to play with this in some mud and stuff. This is I think they call this a hard body. I'm not sure, but it is an old Nissan. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And the He just finished working on that Class A, but he found once he got the whole water system and the generator fixed again, he just found one more leak that he's got to fix behind the toilet. So once he fixes that leak behind the toilet, then those people can come get that and we'll pay him for that. And then his son and his wife have been collecting all of these sandrail go-kart things. Yeah. So, and yeah, we're walking past the tracker. And that's his shop car, I forget what that's called, but that's his shop car, which is a Mad Max style. He's real proud of that car. All right, turning the camera back around. So I took you for a little walk around there. Let's see. I'm starting to have trouble seeing the phone without shade. So let's see. Let me go back up. Okay. So 1 ton gas or diesel. Yeah, I don't know that. Who got engaged? Rebecca Towns. Rebecca, I guess congratulations. I don't think I know you, Rebecca. Well, I mean in person. That doesn't mean I don't. Gooseneck, that's the thing. I couldn't think of that. You have to have that for your trailer. Okay. Gooseneck. Yeah, I couldn't think of gooseneck. Yeah, congratulations, Rebecca. My daughter Rebecca spells her name the same as you do. I spelled her name in the biblical way. Okay. I can't see any prior things. Okay, so any more questions, guys? I feel like I hope I've given you good content today. I think I have. I think I made some good points. I'm not sure that I want to like repeat them as points like you would in a speech. I do know about how to give a good speech, but oh, congratulations, Rebecca. Yeah, there you go. Yep, that's probably true, Jeremy. You'd know your vehicles better. So you're up to date. You know that right now the real need I have right this minute is, I guess the best way to say it is, the prayers for the safe delivery of that engine. That's what it feels like the true need is at the moment. I will keep you up to date as best I can about what's happening and how I'm maneuvering. I keep seeing that Michael keeps sending me messages, but I don't think he's on the live with us right now. I don't know why he's not on the live with us, but Michael, as in Michael and Ranger. So you may see his comments somewhere else. And I'll get back with him after a minute. And that it runs, yes. That there's no problems with the engine that are not minor and fixable. Jeremy, I do believe that when he talked to the people we bought it from, I do believe when they pulled it off the shelf with the fork truck that they either destroyed or something the distributor cap. Somebody said that is a typical problem with a forklift and an engine. So I think we already know we got to do that, but those parts from my engine were good. And I think we're just taking a deep breath and knowing that I got such a good price on the engine itself, that we're just going to do our best with what we get. And we pray that there's no problems with it and that it comes as soon as it can, and that he's able to clear the drive enough for a 40-foot semi to get in here and out. He has a circular drive around the back of the house, and we believe that we have that pretty much cleared. Um, and that bigger truck should be able to swing that curve. Um, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know what else to say. Yeah. Um, I'll keep you guys posted. At least we'll come out here next Sunday and I'll tell you what's going on. Pray also for Esther. She has her own issues. Esther, being, I don't even know all the acronyms for all the problems that she has, medically, health wise problems, but like pox, uh, MCAS, multiple chemical whatever's, all those things that I know Esther has. Um, she's trying to find a low cost RV park that she can get into until she can afford a solar system to be installed on her minivan um, and or uh, uh, what's the square drop trailer? Runaway trailer that will run the AC unit that she has. Her body is no longer able to regulate temperature, and so she needs the air conditioning as much as she needs heat. And so she's trying to figure that situation out, but she needs a low cost way to do that until she can have enough solar and battery to run air conditioning. That's what she's dealing with. But, and in the meantime, she is trying to get up enough gas money together to come the 3 or 4 hours. And I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that she's planning to just come here and camp near me for a little bit while we figure some things out. And um, just to give me a break, to give the family a break, so I can come back at this a little more fresh. I don't know. If it works out, wonderful. If it doesn't, wonderful. But at least we're talking, and at least she's getting some support from me. I'm getting a little support from her. Okay. Okay. Runs. Thank you guys for everything. Hillbilly Blue, I don't think I know you. On YouTube app. Hillbilly. Oh, is Hillbilly Blue? Is that you, Michael? Comes and goes today. Okay. Did you insulate? Oh, yes. Ask Michael. Oh, so Hillbilly Blue is Michael. Okay. Yes. Michael of Michael and Ranger, or Hillbilly Blue now. Michael is the one who helped me, did most of it, did most of the insulating. I could not afford fancy insulation, so I got good old pink insulation. That was a pain in the butt job, wasn't it? But I really appreciate that he was able to help me with that when we did it. And yes, my cabin is super insulated, and the ceiling, the walls, everything's insulated, and it does a good job, because sometimes even in the winter when it's really cold, don't even need to turn the heat on. I can heat it with that 3 candle chandelier. A lot of times that's enough to keep it warm, and the sun coming in the windows. Thank you guys so much. Oh, by the way, I don't know that this is a true announcement yet, so let's be gentle with me on this. But I am seriously considering, I don't know when I'm getting out of here, okay? I got no clue. But I am seriously considering having a get together at my cabin on my property with all of the people who have supported me emotionally and financially. Um, it will probably be by invitation only, more or less, because I've had some negative experiences that some of you have heard about before. But I am really starting to consider doing that for y'all when I'm out of here and get home, and making it, I don't know what. I'm low income. We'll do what we can do. We may have to do shared potluck style food or something, but I don't know. But that's what, let's just, Mary, hi. Yeah, you're probably going to have to go back, Mary, and catch the replay in order to see everything. But I am seriously considering, when I feel like until the engine gets here and we start working with it, that I can't make plans. But I'm leaning toward turning around and going home after I'm sure that I've tested the vehicle for a couple of weeks close by and gotten the extra $100 worth of front end alignment. Then, after I get home, depending on the weather and the timing, I really would like to thank everybody for helping me by allowing a invitation only get together at my property. If that doesn't work out weather wise, we'll at least do something in a good climate area. Yes, I'm probably going to want to regroup and recoup and, yeah, just like get my head straight again. A lot of stuff's gone through my mind. So the tracker is my freedom. Sort of, kind of, yes. How do I answer that, Loretta? Um, I have lived in a couple of situations and cities. I had an apartment in Times Square for 5 years. That means New York City, Manhattan, Times Square. Y'all get what I mean. Like the middle of the world, right? Or the cultured world, whatever, for 5 years. I didn't live in that apartment that full 5 years. But, oh, good for you. Good for you, Loretta. That's wonderful. And you said you did use the little fence to keep the cattle and the coyotes from bothering you too bad, right? Um, yeah, I think it's an adventure vehicle more than my freedom. I think my freedom is in my mentality and in the fact that I have learned along the way. I can't say I taught myself, but I've learned along the way that what other people call minimalism, and if you look into Stoic philosophy a little bit, there's a freedom that comes with not being attached to too much. So, this is a way that I can adventure. But my freedom comes from my skill set and the way I think. If I don't use things very much, they don't stay in my life very long. If I can, when I can, let's rephrase that, when I can be debt free, then my income and my finances are more at peace and more, that's a different piece of my freedom. I love when the things that I need on an everyday fit in something I can carry. And most of the time that's possible. Because I have a vehicle, because, maybe back that up a little bit. I have a vehicle because when I returned to the United States is not set up for people to keep their freedom. Wow, I said that out loud. Oh, please don't let this get me canceled. Um, but it's true. We're not set up in this country for freedom. We're not set up for, we're not a walking society. New York New York City is a walking town city, but the average town is not set up for walking, for bike riding, for people powered anything. I found more freedom in foreign countries. There's a big piece of me that's thinking about that again because I've lost a big part of my freedom by being in the United States. And because I'm in the United States, in order to get around, you got to have a vehicle. I mean, come on, you can't even get a bus out of this area of Nevada. Um, you can't hitchhike. It's not safe. We're all hating on each other in a general sense. I don't mean I think us out here, we're being, gentle and kind with each other. I think that's the world I want, a peaceful, gentle, kind world. And so I'm trying to help make that, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Who said that? I always forget. But it's a necessity for me to have a vehicle if I want to have an adventure in the United States. I tried long distance hiking in the United States. You know what that gets you? I had a hillbilly try to rape me when I was just trying to get a ride off. You hike out of the Appalachian Trail and you go to resupply in towns, and there's guidebooks that tell you how to go at doing that. And so I do what it says. The guy who picks me up is a creepoid hillbilly trying to rape me. I'm like, oh, hell no. I went through that when I was young. You ain't getting to do this. I will jump out of a moving vehicle to avoid that because I already went through it when I was 17. Why am I going to do that again? So, oh, hell no, you don't get to do that about me. And he's like, don't you talk about me in town. I'll come find you. Oh, watch me talk about you in town. I don't give a flying flip. And he got a picture glued, taped to his dash of his family, his wife and kids and family. All right. Oh, if you think I ain't going to talk when I get to town, you full of crap, and then other parts of the Appalachian Trail, I get off in order to go do a resupply. And you, like I said, you do what the guidebooks say. Wow. You go out to the road and you stick your thumb out because you got to hitchhike in. And I'm a woman alone, and I wasn't young, but I wasn't old. I'm probably more white hair now than I was in 2011. But you stick your thumb out to get a ride, and they're throwing beer bottles at you out of a truck. You scuzzy hiker trash, you. Wow. It's not set up even for the long distance hikers, okay, who have their gear and they're not just homeless living in the woods. It's not that kind of thing. But we're not set up for that. We're not nice to each other in this country on a general note, okay? And so, foreign countries look pretty good, but you go to a foreign country and depending on where you go, you're still, when something happens, grandma's grabbing the little kid and they're shoving you as the American out front. So don't think that if you go to a foreign country and you become friends with people, that when the shit hits the fan, you're not going to be the one pushed out to the front lines. You're going to be the first one to die because they're grabbing their kid and they're like, oh no, we belong to this country. That's an American. It, it's the way it's going to happen. And so if you look different from the people in that country, if your language is different, those things can happen to you. I'm not saying they're for sure, but look, I've got experience with this. I'm just saying, none of it's fun. But in the United States, if you don't have a car, you're looked down on really bad. And it's really hard on $1,000 a month or less. How many of you out there have got less money? Lots of you, right? Because I started off with $450 a month. Come on, I know it's taken me years to get here. And you can't afford both a vehicle and a place to live. And you're at the mercy of whoever's willing to give you food, or whoever's at the whoever will give you clothes, or whoever will pay your rent. And so sometimes you stay in abusive relationships in order to have somebody pay rent. You do things that you wouldn't normally do. That's not freedom. So you got me on my soapbox. I'm not sure. Who knows? But I know a lot of stuff has gone through my head while I've been in this situation because, like, this isn't freedom either, sitting here waiting to get a car fix. But at the same time, I'm not blaming anybody. I chose this for now, okay? And I love my little tracker, and I love my cabin and my property. But am I tied to it? No. You know, I'm aware all of this could be gone in a heartbeat. I'm aware that I could have to walk away with only what I can carry. And I'm not as young as I was, but I'm still capable because I force myself to stay capable. I force myself to make sure that I'm eating as careful as I can so I can stay, so I can keep walking. If I eat gluten, the chance is that I'll be paralyzed again. I ain't trying to do that. That's in the United States. Now, to be honest with you, I can eat those things in foreign countries and I'm not paralyzed and I'm not trying to die and I'm not throwing up eggs when I stick a fork in my mouth. But in the United States, oh yeah, I am so allergic to the food in the United States. I can't do this. So, you know, I know this isn't the best situation, but it's not the worst one either. And so, yeah, I'm trying to hug the shade, you guys, because like my arm is, I can feel the burn. Um, yeah, let me go back and see what you guys are saying again, because I know I get on my soapbox and I start talking. And I had to bring the glasses so I can see this little font better. Carport and enclosed it. I saw that one. Has owned, has Oh, every car represented your freedom. Okay. Yeah, for me, not necessarily. I got to tell you, when all my stuff fits in a backpack, everything that I use on a daily fits in a backpack that I can physically carry, when I'm capable of walking at least 10 miles, 10 to 15 miles a day, that's when I feel my freedom. Yeah, rooftop tents are great. Oh, that's right. Your son was going to help you with that, Loretta. That's wonderful. Uh, oh, that's wonderful too. Watching clouds today. People you meet on trips. Yep. Same here. My vehicle is as a nomad, is my home and provides the freedom. I hear you. Coming and going whenever you want. Nobody can tell you nothing. There is a level of freedom with the vehicle, yes, but there's even more freedom in my experience when I don't have to be dependent upon something that I have to license and register and whatever else. So there is that. Very difficult. Yes, especially up there in northern New Hampshire. I understand northern New Hampshire pretty well. Um, Never learned to drive, walked everywhere. Yep. You know what? When I lived in Costa Rica, it was nothing to walk 15 miles to visit a neighbor. It was nothing. Of course, the day that I found that boa constrictor rib cage in the middle of the road, and I don't know what killed it, and it was big. It was, I'm going to say it was 10 or 12 inches across the rib cage, and I don't know what killed it. That made me think about how far I was walking without protection. But, you do what you got to do. Yeah, Beth. Oh, I remember those days. That is so hard. Yeah, homeless shelters. I got some stories about homeless shelters, let me tell you. And one of them was when I was coming off the Appalachian Trail. I went to cross a road in North Carolina. I was almost in Virginia. And somebody heard me cough. And they were like, "You are not going back out." They wouldn't let me go back out. They called the police and they had me transported in police cars from one county to the next, to the next, to the next. I think it was a series of 5 different county police vehicles to take me to the hospital, where the doctor said, "Oh, you're a hiker. There's nothing wrong with you. Put super glue on this. Uh, why didn't you do this thing for this?" And I was like, "What are you talking about? And your bronchitis, you just need to sleep. Just sleep a few days. You'll be all right." Well, I wasn't. I was pretty sick. The doctor wasn't even that great to me. But they wouldn't let me out of the hospital without an address. So they put me in a homeless shelter. Well, guess what the homeless shelter does? You get to the homeless shelter, they hand you this little tote. We're talking little. My backpack wouldn't fit in the tote. You can only keep what will fit in the tote. And I'm like, "But I'm a long distance hiker on the Appalachian Trail. Doesn't matter." And I'm like, they wouldn't let me out of the hospital without the address. So they put me in the homeless shelter for the address, but I can't keep my gear because I'm in the homeless shelter. So the ladies in the office start taking my gear. "You can't have that. That's mine. You can't have that. That's mine." I was like, "That is not yours. I didn't sign any papers. I didn't agree to, you can't leave. Watch me." So I took my gear to the steps outside so I wouldn't get in too much trouble. I gave them to the homeless men on the streets. The down sleeping bag, the backpack, the stoves, the knives, all of it. I had no gear when I left that homeless shelter, but they wouldn't let me out of the hospital without doing it. And so this this country sucks. Did I say that out loud? You all didn't hear that real loud, right? Yeah, homeless shelters. I have plenty of stories about homeless shelters. I have tried farm fresh eggs, Jeremy. Um, the problem with the farm fresh eggs, for me personally, is that most people in the United States are feeding them grain from the feed store. I cannot eat the eggs of the chickens who have had that grain. So, whoops, what? Oh, I hear you, Mary. 40 some odd years ago, that'd be a whole nother thing. Uh, yeah, it was a big snake. Well, the cough was technically, they said it was bronchitis. And then I let them take my tonsils out. It wasn't bronchitis. I got sick right afterwards. It was food allergies. It was a real thing. Kidnapped. Oh, good Lord, there's more to it than I wouldn't have called it kidnapped, but there's another story that I don't tell very often where when I was coming back to the States before I hiked on the Appalachian Trail, where somebody, oh no, it was after the Appalachian Trail, where somebody locked me in a garage for a month because they wanted my Social Security check. Oh, try that. That's being locked up against your will. You think that my freedom's not important to me? You try being locked in a windowless garage for a month. You try that and think that freedom's not important. Ugh. Anyways, I think I better stop. We've been an hour and a half. So yeah, I need chickens that actually have been free ranged for real. Like, some of the people, the Permi people that I know that do things like using chicken tractors, and you move them every day or so that the chickens are actually out there scratching the ground and eating the bugs and whatever the greens in the grass are that are okay for them to eat, because they won't eat the ones they're poisonous to, whatever. Um, so those chicken eggs I can eat, but right now I'm so sensitive that I I get the fork near my mouth with eggs, general, even good farm fresh eggs from, like, these people here are raising birds. They've got chickens, turkeys. I saw they've got banties. They didn't know they were banties, but whatever. They've got banties, they've got regular chickens, they've got ducks, and they've got turkeys. And I tried their eggs one weekend, and I put the fork in my mouth and I vomit right away. I can't. I can't. But they feed them grain, and I can't do that. They get bugs too, but it's just not enough. And in foreign countries, now when I was in Baja, I had eggs one morning down there, and they were true free range, and I didn't have any trouble. So grubs, yeah, grubs are good for chickens. Um, so let's see. Parallel ends. There have been issues with grain and chickens. I saw that one. Parallel ends with the garage. Yeah, there you go. Uh, we'll listen as long as you keep talking. Oh, that's dangerous. No, I get tired, and then I get tired and then I need a break. And sometimes after this Sunday morning thing, I'll be tired for a couple of hours afterwards. And so I just plan to not do much the rest of the day. I told the mechanic here to please, if he had something brainless to do this afternoon, because he finally has taken a day off. He's only had a half a day off since I've been here this month. And so he said he was going to keep the laundry running. And I said, if you want me to, like, mindlessly fold clothes or something, I'd be more than happy to help. Oh, economic slavery, yeah. Thank you, Bernie. Yeah, I think I generally am looking pretty healthy. I have had some allergic reactions to foods that I tried to reintroduce. I seem to do fine with goat milk, and I can buy it in powder form. I just ordered some that is coming to the right address, that is actual full fat raw goat milk powder from goats in New Zealand, which I trust better. And it's not horribly expensive, but I got that coming here. That should be here this week. I don't know why I didn't think of ordering this way back when I was first waiting, but I also ordered the Haynes manual for my tracker. I mean, I don't know why I didn't think to order it way back so that we'd have all the extras. Anyway, so the Haynes manual's on its way. I do fine with the goat's milk. I do fine with, now I'm doing better with raw honey. I was having trouble in the beginning. I could only do Manuka honey, but I'm doing better with raw honey, and I'm doing well with. I seem to be okay with coffee. I'm going to double check that that's not something that's causing some nausea right now, but I don't think so. Have a little bit of trouble with ground beef, um, because I think it does something to the histamine because they age beef when they're processing it. It's a normal thing, but I think I do a little less well with meats that have been in a package for a while. Um, if I find a butcher that's got stuff a little closer. You see, I'm having trouble. I'm trying to find enough shade to read the phone. Enter the garage. Okay, can't seem to. Uh, God blesses me all the time. That's all I got to say. And so I try to share it and pass it on as much as I can. Foraging chicken lady of the North Country. There you go. Um, yeah, when I found it because of traveling the way I do and the small fridge freezer situation I've got in the tracker. Okay, we'll see you later, Jeremy. Love you. We'll talk. I hope I get home soon. Uh, I seem to also do well with sheep milk cheese, which I'm able to find some. I think it's a Machano. I probably don't say it right. Machano, Macha, something. Um, I do well with that. You can buy a chunk for $5 at Walmart. Um, it seems to be awfully expensive in those chunks, but for me, it tastes so good and it's a little salty, and that when I buy it, it often doesn't last. It'll be a big part of my meals for the day I buy it just because it's a treat. So, and that's sheep milk cheese. I do good with that. But guys, I'm tired now. I'm going to let you go. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful week. Oh, yeah. Oh, I agree, girl. Oh, I agree. Um, y'all have a wonderful week. Pray for each other. Help each other out however you can. Sometimes all you can do is pray, or have good thoughts or whatever. Every time I think about somebody, I try to remember to at least pray about it, or to send them a note if I have their information, to just say, hey, I thought about you today. Don't forget to say I love you. You can use the LUV words if you're afraid to say the LOV words, because people do take that wrong. But you know what? Y'all get over it. Some of you guys, when I say LUV, doesn't mean I'm like all chasing you or something. I love you as a human being. Let's just keep doing that, because what else are we going to do? Right? And thank the great creator and sustainer of all life. Thank him, ask him for help, hang in there. Love you too, Hillbilly Blue. I love that. That's good. That's good. And y'all have a wonderful week. And if you need to talk to me, and I've already given you my personal number, you just call. If I don't get it right away, I'll get back to you. Anybody who knows me well knows I'll get back to you. It just takes a minute sometimes. Y'all have a wonderful week. Ciao.